means you about to make a killing. Fuck the hater, you don't care about the way they feeling. Won't stop till you big willin'. Can't stop till you lose a ceiling. Pop a bottle, celebrate another win on them. Toss dollars if you got them, go and spend on them. Cause it ain't nothing when you winning, yeah.
What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Sound Sense Academy with your boy Sense. All right, man, let's just hop straight into it. Well, do a quick little introduction, then hop straight into it. Today we're gonna deal with EQing. I'm gonna show you the basics of how I EQ my vocals. And before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for all of the support. Please remember to hit like, comment, subscribe, and then share with a friend if you fucking with it. You know what I mean? As for mixing and mastering, if you have any questions, you can hit me up at my website, fmeforever.net, or you can hit me at the email below. All right. If you need any personal tutoring, if you need anything mixed and mastered, if you need a video shot and you're in the Southern California area, tap in with me. You already know what it is. But yeah, we just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So today, I just did a quick little freestyle before I got on camera and, just tried to lay some vocals down real quick. And I'm just going to show you what it sounds like. It has everything else on it, right? It has the compression on it. It has the de-esser. It has all of that on it. So it's going to sound a lot better than it would sound if it was just raw. But there's no EQ on it, all right? And then I'm going to gradually start adding things to the vocals and explaining what I'm doing so that you could see how this whole thing works, all right? So, here's the vocal clip.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely.
All right, cool. So, that's our vocal sample. So, in your vocal track, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is a high pass, or as I call it, the bass cut. So here's your high pass filter. You're gonna turn that on if it's not turned on, which is this little button right here that says in. I like a moderate curve to my bass cut. I don't like it too sharp. Like up here is like too sharp. So I just leave it at that first one, right? And this is your standard EQ7 band from Pro Tools. All right, so I'm not doing anything special here. All right, so now I want you to hear what's taking place. So
couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me.
Let's have a little bit of bass now. I don't want to cut out too much of the bass. Then my vocals are gonna sound very thin. Sometimes it's better for that. Like singing vocals is really not too good to have too much bass in there. So your vocals can be a little bit thinner. It just depends on the vocal profile, really, right? So you just gotta do what sounds good. You know what I mean? So for me there, I'm probably gonna cut it out at about 50. I don't want to take out too much of the bass because I have another layer of EQ that is gonna take place in the vocal chain right here. All right. So on your vocal track, you're just doing a simple bass cut, trying to get it to where it sounds a little bit more clear, but it's not, it's not all the way there. Just you're cutting out some of that rumble in the low end.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely.
All right, cool. So I like it So what we're gonna do next is bring up our vocal bus EQ, and we're gonna start working from there. All right. So what you're gonna do is do another high pass or bass cut, and for this one I'm using the auto tune vocal EQ, and I'm just gonna turn on that bass cut. Right now it's already at a medium. It's at a medium curve. I would leave it at that 12. Wouldn't go any higher than that. It's up to your personal preference though. If you like a sharper bass cut, go ahead. Me, I like a medium bass cut. All right. I want to leave some subtle traces of the low end so it doesn't get too thin in the mix. All right. So now we're going to work on our secondary bass cut, high pass filter, whatever you want to call it. Right.
Couldn't believe that
The good thing about
you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments.
All right, so the good thing about the auto-tune vocal EQ also, as well as the new F6, is that it shows you the waveform. So it shows you where your hot spots are, where you're getting most of your sound from. And you could see, like, you could actually visually see where things are peaking higher than the others. Now, I don't use that. Sometimes I'll just use it as, like, if I'm having some problems and I'm like, all right, where's that problem coming from? Then I might be able to identify it from the waveform that's showing up. However, most of the time, I solely rely on my ear, but I like to have that waveform as a backup so that I can do whatever I need to do. You know what I mean? If things get a little bit more tricky, right? So right now I'm gonna show you how to sweep for frequencies. And what sweeping for frequencies means is you're basically taking one of these points, one of these nodes, you're pushing it all the way up to the top, and then you're sweeping it from side to side and trying to find your the frequencies that don't sound good or that are bringing something ugly to the sound of the vocal, right? And then you're gonna dip that. All right. So I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean right now. And you're gonna start from the low end and move to the high. All right. So first one.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely.
See that right there? It's kind of
Yeah, I
muffled.
couldn't believe that.
So that right there is kind of muffled. It's the most muffled part of the sweep. We're gonna start there. All right.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I like where the bass is at right now. I like where the low end is at right now. So we're going to move on to our next node, number 2. All right. And we're going to sweep and just look for something that doesn't feel right. All right.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
See that? You see how it's already starting to come through a little clearer, sizzle a little bit more, sound just a little bit more pronounced. That's what you're looking for. Every time you drop one of those negative frequencies, it's going to sound better and better. Now, There's also like, if you want, like, I don't want to get it too complicated right now, but the Q, says the angle of the frequency that you want to remove. If you're looking to remove something a little bit more specific, you're going to move that Q upwards and try and get that specific frequency or that specific range of frequency out. But for me, while I'm doing my general vocal mix, I'll leave it wide. You know what I'm saying? I don't usually go into the more narrow Q until it gets to like once I'm finished doing this. If there are any residual frequencies that are still bothering my ears, I'll go through and I'll do specific removals, right? So we're gonna move on to the next one, number 3. All right.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
All right. So we're getting there, right? Clearer, 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 clearer. Number 4, do the same thing.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
All right. And then number 5.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
All right. So a little trick here is anywhere between like this 6 and 7 mark is probably where a lot of your vocal harshness is going to come from. A lot of that scratchiness that doesn't sound really great on the mix. But from like this line, this 8 line upwards is where you're going to have a lot of your hisses, your S sounds, your high S sounds. So usually for that last one, what I will do is turn the Q up, and then I'm just trying to remove that specific frequency that brings you that harshness on the S's, right? So let's...
Couldn't believe that
You'll hear this very clearly.
you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments.
So
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely.
you see that? The S's got a lot more clear, a lot less. You'll hear it, watch.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
All right, that's nice, man. I might take out a little bit more of the low end personally on my voice. I don't really like too much low end on there, so I'm gonna take out a little bit more of the low end.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that
All right, cool. So just an example of what I was talking about before. I don't really hear anything too much that I want to additionally take out, but just so that you can have an example, say there's still some frequencies in there that you're not liking. You come here, open up another EQ, and then you just search for those frequencies on a narrower scale and try and
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
Now I don't know if you heard that, but that was in that little middle part there was just kind of like a wah wah sound, like wah, wah, wah. I don't know how to explain that other than that, but it's like a wah wah sound, and I just didn't really like it. Took it out. All right, so gonna do the same thing here with the 3. Sometimes you have to work harder on your high ends. If you have a bright microphone like this is a AT2020. It's very bright. It accentuates your high ends, and sometimes you might need a little bit more taming of those frequencies. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going through here so that you guys can see more examples of what you can do as far as narrowing down your EQ and removing specific ranges of frequencies. All right, so here we go.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah. Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just.
Every time you take out one of those and you just drop them a little bit, it will bring more and more clarity to your mix. So I'm gonna keep on going just so you guys can see how I actually really work through these frequencies.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah. Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had was just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me. Yeah.
There we go. That's super clean. Sounds super dope. If you want, say your vocals are having a little bit of problems cutting through the bass in your song or whatever it is, and it's almost there, but you're like, man, I just need them to cut through. They're being buried by the bass. What you want to do is add some air, right? Now here that it actually has the tag air, but if not, what you're gonna have to do is reserve one of these nodes and switch the mode into like a shelf mode. See, like how it's dipping out that whole section. But we don't need that for the auto-tune vocal EQ because it has a specific node just for air. So you're gonna turn your air on, and then let me show you what this will do. It will just brighten the high ends, bring them up a little bit more, and help those vocals cut through any bass or distortions that are taking place. All right, so check this out.
Couldn't believe Everything we had, we just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me, yeah. I couldn't believe.
All right, cool. So that was it, man. That's the basics for EQing your vocals. Everything else that comes with making your vocals sound nice is like compressions and stuff like that. So I'm gonna take off some of these compressions just so you can hear what it would sound like without it. It's not gonna be all the way off because I'm just muting the compressions, and it still keeps like a minimal amount of compression on it. For whatever reason, that's how Pro Tools works. You can't completely mute things when they're there. So if you want them off, you actually have to take them all the way off. So here, I'll just show you a little.
Couldn't believe that you were just going, leave me so lonely. Yeah, I couldn't believe that everything we had, we just out in moments. I'm lost and I need you to hold me, yeah.
So what you're hearing is that the compressions do a lot as far as controlling the vocals and making them sound more steady. So feel free to drop a comment, request it. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about, please drop a comment and request it. For now, just hit like, comment, subscribe, and that little notification bell, and make sure you share this with anybody who could find it useful. I already know what it is. Family, money, everything. Let's get it, baby. Whoa!
You got big dreams, you about to make a killing. Fuck the hater, you don't care